How do trade deficits connect to us government debt? Imagine a country that keeps importing more than it exports. That's what a trade deficit is, a situation where the United States buys more goods and services from other countries than it sells to them. Now, you might wonder how that affects the government's debt. Well, it all comes down to how the country saves and invests money. When the government spends more than it takes in through taxes, it runs a budget deficit. This means the government is borrowing money to cover the gap. When the government borrows, it reduces the total savings in the economy because it's using funds that could have been saved or invested elsewhere. In a healthy economy, savings come from private individuals, businesses, and the government. But when the government spends more than it earns, it leaves less money available for private savings and investment. If the total savings in the country drop below what's needed for investment, the United States has to look for funds from outside the country. This is where foreign borrowing comes into play. The U.S. borrows money from other countries by selling government securities, like Treasury bonds. These are basically IOUs that foreign investors buy, and they add to the national debt. So, when the country has a large trade deficit, it's importing more than it's exporting, which means it's relying on foreign money to pay for those imports. This foreign money often comes in the form of buying U.S. Treasury securities. As more foreign investors buy these securities, the government's debt increases because it owes money to people and countries outside the United States. There's a clear link between trade deficits and government debt. When trade deficits stay high over time, the government tends to borrow more from abroad to fill the gap. This borrowing adds to the national debt, which is the total amount the government owes. From a fiscal responsibility point of view, reducing government spending and balancing the budget can help increase national savings. That way, the country won't need to borrow as much from foreign sources, which can help slow the growth of government debt. Policies that encourage saving and responsible spending, like reforming entitlement programs or cutting unnecessary expenses, can help improve the savings-investment balance. When the country saves more, it reduces the need to depend on foreign money to fund its investments and trade activities. This can lead to a smaller trade deficit and a more sustainable level of government debt. In the end, managing trade deficits and government debt together is key to strengthening the country's economic independence. By focusing on fiscal discipline and promoting private savings, the United States can work toward a more balanced economy that is less vulnerable to external shocks and more capable of funding its own growth.